All right, welcome to this lesson of killing the chain. So you might be wondering what is this about. So this is a very high level view on cybersecurity in today's perspective. So we have talked in many different lessons. We talked about basic security, penetration testing, hacking, reverse engineering, exploitation, standards, and so many other topics in different courses, and also GRC, governance, risk, and compliance. So there's so much of things to learn about cybersecurity or related areas, and but still, uh, the threats are getting bigger day by day. Even the times of corona, you see there are so much of threats happening around, so organizations can be a bit in trouble. So this is where we have to discuss about these topics like threat intelligence, threat modeling, cyber threat intelligence, and this kill chain. So this is called the cyber kill chain, what you're seeing here. And there are a lot of other things also. And so a lot of organizations, cybersecurity engineers, seems to be talking about these things every day, just because there's no one particular solution, no one silver bullet. So they're using some of these techniques together. So let's dive into this and understand what's the current situation, and this can be quite useful for all of you. Uh, there are so much of concepts here. There are so much to learn here. So I do think this will be series of lessons, but try to grab the basics. So some people will stop at one point, and other people can go more and more. So as an example, there can be some students who are listening here who are coming from the managerial background. So if that's the case, what you need is the base idea. But there are some people who are learning deep into moving into red teaming, blue teaming, whatever not. So then you have to analyze this or understand this ground up, right? So that's this concept is pretty useful. So we'll dive in, right? So what you see here is basically this concept of cyber kill chain. So cyber kill chain basically is a series of steps to trace stages of a cyber attack. So when you learn ethical hacking, we learn like what hackers do. Like this is almost similar in nature, but now we are looking it from a more of a high level perspective. So you can see obviously initial stages, as you can see here, you find reconnaissance, right? And it jumps to intrusion. What is this? Exploitation. If you can't see it, I can increase the size a bit. Yep, now you'll be able to see it. Yeah, so you get the exploitation, right? And then you get the privilege escalation, lateral movement, obfuscation. So we learn about these topics, the terms, denial of service, exfiltration, reconnaissance. And it again connects to intrusion, right? So it's all, this is called recon. This is a famous term in bug bounties. Yeah, most of you learn in recon. It's a military term. Before you do attack, you do your recon. So then, I mean, like you are so much in control. So you know exactly what to do, what not to do, right? So that's basically you do. So this is something cool because this looks like this Paticca Samuppada in Buddhism, right? So what we have this Hetupala Dham and all that, right? So the cool thing about Paticca Samuppada is like, it's like a circular thing. And so don't get me wrong that I'm going to teach you Buddhism. I don't know much of Buddhism. But rather, the concept is that it's a circular thing. And if you want to break it, you don't have to break it from the first phase, right? You can break it anywhere. So if you can break anywhere, it has this effect where basically it get dumped. So try to understand this. Most of the things that you find in the universe are the, the formats where it's circular. So if you want to break circular, you can attack from any place. So anywho, this is the cyber kill chain. Just an idea, right? Just an idea. So it can be used as a very valuable thing. So this particular model is developed to understand ransomware or to combat ransomware, security breaches, and also especially advanced persistent attacks or threats, which we're going to talk about later on. So understanding the cyber kill chain would give you a definite advantage of understanding all these things. And actually, Lockheed Martin firm derived this kill chain from a military model actually. So that's why it says kill chain. So you do killing in army, right? So that's what you do. So originally established to identify, prepare the attack, and engage and destroy the target. So since its inception, the kill chain has evolved basically to anticipate, recognize insider threats, social engineering, and other things. Right. So moving on. So the kill chain basically helps to understand and combat ransomware, right? So basically APTs and all these things can be handled using the cyber kill chain. And there are several core stages in the cyber kill chain, as you have seen. There are several stages. Like basically it's right. So 8 phases. It has 8 phases. So if I get a figure here, so you can see reconnaissance, intrusion. So once you gather the information, you can intrude and you can exploit something. So you can get into one level and then you can jump into another level, right? And then you can have lateral movement. So basically lateral movement can be from there onwards you can hack someone else. So you can attack someone else. So those are your options which are available, and then you can have obfuscation. So then you can hide yourself, and then you can do something to uh, block all the services, right? So those are things that we can do. So I'm not going to uh, discuss too much on this. Most of you have seen them, right? Yeah, so that's basically what you mean by the cyber kill chain, right? So the major takeaway here is uh, when you use this model, right? So you can use this model to combat basically several of the steps that we mentioned, right? So then we can use this in a rational way to model and analyze situations that we are in. So once we understand the situations that we are in, so are we in a bad situation according to the kill chain? So we can take actions according to them. So you can actually calculate your threats and then the risk, and then you can implement controls on top of it. So you have all these nice options available. Right. So now, even though cyber kill chain is famous, but we almost hear another technique which is also really famous called Mitre attack framework. So it normally announce and call it as the attack framework, but actually we write it down. You write it down as this ATT and CK. So that's how you basically write it down, spell it out. Right. So this is also quite useful. This is like two sort of not competing but related concepts used widely available. But now recently I've seen lot of people uses the Mitre attack framework. So today's lesson I just wanted to go in detail into this Mitre attack framework to explain and first explain what is this, and then also like how we can really use it as a manager or as a CIO or as an auditor, as a consultant, as an engineer, security consultant, pen tester, red teamer. So all these buggers needs to understand this holistic concept of Mitre attack framework, which can be useful, right? But please remember, this is not the only thing. But this is a somewhat useful technique. So you can basically Mitre attack framework like the cyber kill chain can handle these things, the APTs. So APTs can be, as it says, targeted, coordinated, so month on month and the period, right, sort of, and then whom it get attacked. So these terms are important to understand the attack framework. And also there's another terms comes in, so we'll take that as well. So this is called the IOC. We have learned this, some of you have learned this actually. This is called indicators of compromise. So it's like a concept where you do a kind of analysis of an attack or something. You identify where it had gone wrong. So there can be several types of IOCs: atomic, computed, and behavioral. But if you don't understand it, don't really worry. So let me show you another set of examples. Then you'll understand what we are basically referring to this as IOCs, right? So as referring to as indicators of compromise. So these are also triggering points. So this is where you identify that something is going wrong in your organization. Unusual outbound network traffic, right? And anomalies in privilege user count activity, right? All right. So and also geographical irregularities. So there can be some stuff that shouldn't happen in your domain or in the area, and other logs and login red flags, cells in database read volumes. So these are like technical, really technical, but still you can understand. So this can be an issue where the databases grows rapidly. HTML response size, large number of requests for the same file. So it can be a PO case of a DOS or a DDoS. Mismatch port application traffic. So there's some port traffic that is coming from a port where it's not normal. Suspicious register. So those are basically, guys, IOCs, indicators of compromise. Right. So then we have already looked at this cyber kill chain, so I don't think we have to look at it again. So okay. So now I believe it's good time to understand why or what is this Mitre attack framework, right? So let me bring down a definition for it. So this is a very basic definition. So it stands for adversarial techniques, tactics, and that's why the N is here. Common knowledge, right? So the common knowledge, common knowledge. It's global accessible knowledge base of adversary tactics and techniques based on the real world observations. An attack knowledge base is used for foundation for the development of specific threat models, methodology, blah blah blah. So basically, this is what it says, right? Now, for the last several years, we have seen a lot of organizations got attacked. So that's pretty known, right? So from Microsoft to LinkedIn to Google to Facebook, so a lot of organizations was hacked. And of course, like last several years, we have repeatedly said a lot of data, blah blah blah, and we can use big data, we can analyze it. Yeah, that's the thing, right? So these people who are at Mitre and some other organizations who are related, been doing it for a long time. So they've been looking at the existing situations and they have found out more of a taxonomy or set of words or set of guideline of what had happened. So as an example, there was a ransomware called Wannacry, which was actually a real issue, Wannacry. So this Wannacry ransomware, when it was affected, how it all started, they kind of did a post-mortem analysis. So it affected some organizations. True, that's okay. So we get rid of it. And you go back and see what was the root cause, who did it, and how they did it, and what were the steps that they used. It was not done only once, twice, thrice, but they're done so many times, and it really affected in losing a lot of money, people's time. It was really a bad situation. So we need to go back and find the source, not only the source, how it really worked out. Was it like this or was it like that? So you have to figure it out. So this is what the Mitre is bringing in. So rather giving a flat weave like in cyber kill chain, it gives you more of a, I can't say two-dimensional, but or three-dimensional, but it's more for like a three-dimensional weave. So they implement something called TTP. If I try to narrate it, first T stands for tactics, right? So they identify the tactics of the people or the hackers or the criminals' tactics, and also the techniques used, right? Techniques used in that attack, say Wannacry, and also the processors used. So it's like a TTP model. So it basically come up with this TTP model, and then they try to use it to provide organizations to run this model or simulation model and understand where they are. So there are a lot of cool things in this Mitre attack framework. So, but before rather explaining all this, the concepts behind it, I'll show you example. So once you look at the example, it will be more clearer to you guys, right? So let me directly go to this example. So this is the Mitre attack framework. So I have already installed it. You guys also can install it. So this is when you see it, you understand what is this is, right? But don't worry, right? Don't worry. We come to this, right? We come to this. So basically, this is, as you can see, a kind of a I don't say it's a graph. You can't say it's a table. It's a framework. So it covers all these things called tactics, techniques, and processes. So we go into that. This is a very practical one. So anybody can really get into this and get real use out of this. And actually, you guys can install this. I'll show you how to install this, guys. Yeah, first I'll let bit know about that, teach you that. Otherwise, you are lost in a way. So this is called the Mitre Attack Navigator. So I'm using that to teach you the whole concept. Right, now what you're supposed to do, there's this GitHub. Please fork this. I haven't forked it yet. All right, okay, yep, that. So you guys can use my one and fork it for fun, right? All right, so let me check. So this is from Mitre. So this is basically the a lot to learn here. So I'm going to do a series of things on this. So pretty interesting. So it's a navigator. It has matrices. It's really cool. It's based on a lot of data. So you can, if you go inside this, you can find data as well. So there's this thing called nav. So if you go inside that, there are JSON files. So this is based on Node.js and Angular. The front end is Angular based, and server end is, guys, all JavaScripts based on Node. And where is this JSON files? I think inside the source you can find a lot of JSON files, including all the data. So I'll come to that later. Otherwise, you get a bit disappointed. What is this guys talking about? So you have to learn about a framework. Now it's becoming a kind of what do you say, a development thing. No, don't worry too much. We'll come to that later. But remember, this is a very interesting thing, right? Okay, so you can do all these things in Excel, as they say, no need. And also, this has several modules. One called Enterprise Attack, and also there's one called Mobile Attack. We'll look at those two separately. We'll come to that, guys. And when you install this, you guys need to use. Let me bring down my. Okay. Okay. So what I did basically. Okay. CD desktop. Bootcamp. Then where was I? Mitre, okay. Not here, Mitre. Oops. Okay, so then I can git clone the whole thing, right? So it's quite simple. I hope you all know, if you have git, you can do a git clone and you can get it here. All right, so just do that. That's basically it. Okay. Can we refresh this? Okay. Okay, and if you are here, you have to go inside, and you're basically here unless everything is fine. If you don't have any problem with the status, okay, I have changed this a bit, don't worry. You can do npm. Basically, yeah, the command is npm install. So once you do that, yeah, you have to go to the nav app directory. Sorry about it. You have to go to the nav app directory once you do the cloning. So here you can do npm start, but the requirements would be you have to implement, make sure that you have node. So you have to have node, and also you have to have Angular. Yeah, so I have 13.13, and if you don't have Angular, you can install that as well. Yes, so ng version. Do I have yeah, so your global Angular CLI 9.1.5, the greater than your local, that's okay, that's all right. Yeah, fine. So you need to have all this Angular stuff to get it done. And once you do that, basically, once you install it, you have to say ng serve. Right? So if you never heard of ng, don't know, that's a man page for that. No, sorry. So you have to know a bit of Angular to do that. No worries. So this is ng serve, and then like me, you go here, you will get your Mitre attack map. So this is the attack map. Right, now we are here, guys. Now, okay. So now if I try to give you a quick overview, so what you have here, let me bring down the tactics, right? So these are called metric tactics in the attack map, all right? So what you have here is like somewhat very similar what we have seen in cyber kill chain, right? You have persistence, any access, action, change, or system that provide attacker persistent presence. It's a change of some information. And then privilege escalation, so that's what the attacker do, right? Techniques that provide attacker to higher permission. You have user level access, root level access. Defense evasion, attackers can use these tactics. This is like logics they use, right? Purpose of evading detection. Like the Sherlock Holmes movies, like the criminals try to remove their footprints or something like that. Credential access techniques result into access of control over the system, get the credentials, get the passwords, attack the password file, those things. And discovery about system and internal network. So I'm here, right? And the lateral movements, as I explained, enable attack to access control remote system on a network. Yep. Execution, attack control code in the local remote system, collection. Okay, this is about gathering information. See, like this is different from recon. So this is at the latter stage. Exfiltration, a result of aid and attack, removing files from information from the target. So this can be something that you want to do, right? Exfiltration, so getting information out of the network. These are really cool stuff, right? In a way, this is what's happening. You lose your information, you use your passwords, you use your credit cards, you use credentials. All right. And then finally allows the attackers to communicate with control system with the target network. All right. So these are the call, guys. The things called the tactics. Hope it's clear for you guys. And then with the tactics, you use something called techniques. So that's where you build up the matrix. It's called a matrix, right? So let me bring down the attack matrix. So now you understand. So how do you expand this tactics with the techniques, right? So this is only part of it, not everything, guys. So its attack map is kind of huge. So as you can see, for the initial access, they use drive-by compromise. Some of you have not learned drive-by compromise, something that you know. Hardware additions, yeah. Exploit public-facing applications. So that is basically getting to access to a website, something like that. For the execution, you can use compile HTML file or a script, right? JavaScript, like Apple script here. And then the persistence attacks, they can use some of those uses. So likewise, I cannot of course explain all these things. There's no use. Now, say these are things that you probably know. Credential access brute forcing for discovery, file directory discovery, accessing file directories, lateral movement, login scripts, logon scripts, right? Collection, audio capture, so that can be a big thing. So some of you have seen that we have done this malware analysis on packet capturing. So the next one would be on wipe attacks. Pretty cool, right? So if you're following that, please watch that as well. That will be really cool. All right, and then command and control, commonly used ports, and also exfiltration, getting data out, data transfer precisely. So these are the techniques used. So these are the techniques, guys. So these are basically the techniques. These are the tactics. That's a one T, and this is another T. This is basically, these are techniques. All right. Hope it's clear, right? All right. So now we try to go into our attack map. Then now you understand what's really happening here. So this is now what we are going to do. We are going to analyze situations. Now, see, like of course, good that if you can learn all these things when you click on one of those, you can. There's so much to learn. So this is there's a code also. This is the cool thing about the Mitre attack framework. So everything is codified, so people will not get into what is that, ambiguity, right? So everyone knows what they're talking about, what the S that they're talking about, what the F that they're talking about. So for everything, there's a code. So this can be checked, rechecked with another documentation which is out there. All right. So now see what to do with this. Yes, there's so much of things. So now see, there's a lot of data here. So you don't like data. So how can you get something out of this? That's the cool thing here. All right. So to go there, let me try to find one of the two major incidents that had happened. So the initial one, we'll try to get a Wannacry. Wannacry. So what is Wannacry? Have you ever got a Wannacry? 101. Wannacry 101. So we can get more information. Yeah. So we have everything about Wannacry here. So let us go through it quickly. Okay. So Wannacry is ransomware have been reported in India. So this is old article, right? No, I don't want this. But anyway, so Wannacry, this is everybody have seen this. This is where people were scared. Okay, I had to now pay Bitcoin, blah blah blah, and 99 countries, 200,000. These are all like old data, right? So it's not really the newest one. So it really got a big hit to the organizations. Okay, let me get some stats here so you guys can get to know. Wannacry. Okay, we go to the Wikipedia article. I think that would be the best place. It's updated, right? All right. So as you can see here, Wannacry was 2007 ransomware attack. So you all know what is ransomware, and this was for Microsoft Windows computers, and the payments had to be done on Bitcoin. And it propagated through something called Eternal Blue, which is vulnerability, and then it's exploit developed by NSA for all the Windows systems. So the same was used here, and the group was called the Shadow Brokers. So now, like, you guys have started learning about these threats, the groups, and the the attack vectors, the campaigns, and the everything, right? So there's so much of literature here, words here to learn. Right, attack was halted within few days of its discovery due to emergency patches released by Microsoft. Discovered a kill switch to stop it, and then attack was estimated to have affected more than 200,000 computers across 150 countries. And this is the important part, right? Hundreds of millions to billions of dollars were damaged or as damaged. Right, so that was one of the biggest concerns, and this talks about what really happened, the story behind the attack. So now we know that. So this says Kaspersky study reported, however, that less than 0.1% of the affected computers were running Windows XP. So meaning it affected to Windows 7 computers as well. And the response impacts, you can see everywhere it's infected, including Sri Lanka. And so these are the bigger issues, including computers MRI scanners. So people probably might die because of this. That's to storage refrigerators. See, this is a big issue, like information warfare, right? So this is come up to that level. So it's not an easy thing, guys, right? So to understand. So these are some of the places. Police in India, what else? Portugal Telecom. So a lot of other places. So please read these things. These are really important to read and understand. And then there was a post-attack computer users claiming developing Wannacry email threatened to destroy victims' data, 1.1 Bitcoin. So that's a lot of money. So that's one, and the other one I want to see is not Petya. That is not Petya. Yep, Petya, not Petya. Okay, let me search. So not Petya. Petya or not Petya? Let me search for not Petya. So this is quite cool. Untold story of not Petya. Okay, so Petya is the family. Okay, and yeah, we'll go to the wiki article. Yeah, again it's a ransomware. That was first year 2016. Targets Windows PCs. Effective master boot record. You will never know master boot record. It's some information related to the loading of the operating system. And was used earlier the year by Wannacry ransomware. It's quite related. Alright, so this is another attack which really affected. NotPetya ransom note displayed on a compromised system. Yeah, so this was a famous figure. Impact, the report published on Wired, the White House assessment pledged total damages brought about NotPetya. Wow, a staggering $10 billion. So somebody have earned that amount. Ooh, that's really bad. This was confirmed by former Homeland Security Advisor Tom Bossert, who at the time of the attack was the most senior cybersecurity guy. Pity him. During the attack initiated by 27 June 2017, radiation monitoring system at Ukraine Chronobyl nuclear. So this is cyber warfare, guys, in a way. Several Ukrainian ministers, bank, metro system affected. You can make a film about Wannacry, NotPetya. Cool stuff, right? Not cool at all, but you can make films. Like, of course, somebody will do a film on Corona as well. There's so much of stories, so much of them, right? So you can use something like attack map, build the attack map sort of sequence idea, right? So you can build a Mitre type of attack map for like pandemics. So you can track back and not to repeat or to cover the losses or to get prepared or something, whatever, right? So it's like a model the threat. You know? Not cyber threat intelligence, pandemic threat intelligence, PTI, not CTI. Just idea, right? So blah blah blah. So see, like, so these two are quite useful to understand. So now what I'm going to do, and this is the cool thing about this. So if you go here now, you can see the initial access execution what we discussed, and there are a lot of items now. Say defense evasion, there are like 69 items, guys. 69. At the 32. Wait, come on. We'll go through. Right. So lot of items. Everything is codified, and so you can see things like scripting, rootkits, other things. Right. Okay. Now there's some particular section called selection of control. So I'm going to use that. I can search something there. Hope you guys can see the video clearly. So I'll do a multi-select. Yeah. So once you go here, now you can see thread groups. Later on we'll understand what is this APT1, APT12. So APT29 is so famous. Look at it. APT29. This is APT29. It's a threat group that has been attributed to Russian government because it's so famous with Russian government, right? So everybody's talking about that on Russian government, guys. So we got another one, APT33. Otherwise, it's really not good, right? Anyway, since at least 2008, this group reported, and also this all created from things from the domain, things from everyday people, right? So you can't say no for this. But of course, I don't know that everybody in the world is putting information into this. But of course, schooners can be a little less. Anyway, it's for you to decide. Associated groups, so these are the groups, dukes, the cozy bears. So I think you guys have to have kind of a knack to understand who's these bears and dukes and all this, where these buggers are living. They are living in Sri Lanka, living in Canada, living in China, Vietnam, wherever, right? So these are those assumed groups. Some of them are saying, okay, we are these cozy dukes and we attack you, that idiots, or something like that. So they take this thing, but who knows, right? So this is assuming group reportedly compromised Democratic National Committee starting in the summer of 2015. So they use these techniques. So if you can recall, these are those numbers, T's and T's and all that. So this is what you see here, domain. So everything is codified. So there's a taxonomy. So everybody can refer to anything. Like the standard we learn on ISO 27000, this is sort of a cool thing. So, and if you really want to click one of these things, now see spear phishing. So how to do that? Not to worry, you can go there, right? And also you can see here in this the document, you can see the groups at this side, right? These are the groups, and then you can see the threads, right? And then you can see associate group descriptions and the references and the techniques used. So if you want to get one of them, you can click on the technique. Now we have a very detailed documentation of how you do, what is spear phishing link, so the details of it, and the ID and the tactic they use, or for what tactic they use this technique, and the platform that you can use spear phishing links, and data sources and contributors, all right, from different places. All right, and then of course related to those there are procedures. So everything is properly linked up one to other, to each other, which is really good, right? Okay, fine. So now so I hope that now you understood the whole idea. So these are the thread groups. So I'm not really worried about the thread groups, rather I'll worry about the software at the moment, but you can do this experiment as you like. You can do multiple selections, but I want to go and get, guys, Petya. There are all these other attacks, right? So comrade, evil bunny. Okay. Okay, where's Wannacry? Okay, you go down, Wannacry, LM, WWSW. Okay, somewhere here. Oops. There's Wannacry, guys. WA. Okay, you have it. You can select this. Once you select it, I've accepted this. Oh, okay, I think I selected that. Yeah, that's why there's these boxes appearing here and there. Okay, not to worry. Okay, fine. I hope it's selected. Then what I should do, I should go here and add a color, right? So that can give you, this is in the layer control. So you can go here and add a color from 0 to 100. That's okay. I'll select the red color. I'll select the red color. Nope, it didn't work. Okay, that's fine. All right, that worked. It worked. So basically, it's adding up a color, guys. So we can put. Okay, no, that's the row background. So that's all right. Leave it like that. Okay, maybe I'm doing the wrong place. Background color. Okay. Scoring variant. All right. Okay, just see. Okay, it worked out. So I label this as Wannacry, and basically again here you go and select. So once you select, it get appeared, and you go here and add a color. Right, so you can get some colors here. So it doesn't directly apply. So what you have to do next is go to the technical control and give a score. Right, so don't worry too much. But that score I can say 3 here, and then you can click here. So that would do, and then you can give a comment if you want. That's fine. Yeah, no need of other colors. Right, so that basically shows you now what had happened in the Wannacry. So this is based on the past data. So they have used, the execution was based on Windows management instrumentation, so obvious with the uh, eternal blue, and then they use persistence techniques as hidden files and directories and new services, and then at the privilege escalation they have used new service, and the defense evasion they use file directory and hidden files directories. Credential access they have not used anything. Discover they use file directory and discovery and peripheral device discovery remote. So likewise they have, this is the format of they have used it. So I cannot draw anything here, but you can see the flow, like how it moved, right? So the workflow, the process flow, right? So this is important to understand. So this is the process flow that they have used. So this can be pretty useful for anybody to understand. So now if you know there's a threat of this threat of ransomware, so you know that these are the areas that you are supposed to follow through, and these are the areas that you have to safeguard, right? So, and also you can tighten your security in these areas. So that's to understand that. And I'll do another layer. You can click here and add another layer, create a new layer. You can open existing layer, or I can add a new layer. So that will create again this one. And now this I want to go not Petya, another similar ransomware. So we can do even cross comparison, guys. So let me go here again, and then I'll select Petya or not Petya. I think it should be lemon, no. Oh, not Petya. Okay, you have it here. So now you can see everything is connected or highlighted. So then you can get a color setup from 50. I selected it right. Okay, so let me go red. Alright, then I will go and give a score of 6. Right, so I don't know whether it's right or wrong, I just give a score. Right, when I come here now, you can see, guys, they have used supply chain compromise for Petya, valid accounts, and then this is called scheduled task, and then yeah, scheduled task, indicator removal and host, credential dumping. That's what happened. So this is the two things that really what happened, and we'll go and try to do a comparison between those two. So now we can say create layer from other layers, choose layers to inherit properties from. And now you can see, guys, you can see there's a here and a B appears here. So you can create expression here, A plus B. So it will come to the same sheet. And then you can do other things like coloring, comment, states. I can say create. So it will add those two together with some other additional colors, right? So which you can or be able to analyze what had happened. And this can be pretty useful for you to do threat intelligence and threat modeling, right? So this is the basic idea. So this can be then used to do other activities. So I'll tell you what you can do, right? So now because you have this the flow decided, so you know, like, okay, what can happen to your organization as well. So there now there's a cool thing that you guys can do. So let me show you now what to do. Right, so now there's something called pyramid of pain, right? So these are all related, guys, to your life, right? So it's not directly related, directly related to your life, how it works out. So when you want to do anything, right? So there's always a pain, right? To come up to something good, right? To something good, there's a pain. So the same pain is there, especially when it comes to attack. So what you do is this: you allow this pyramid of pain. As an example, what you see here is there are techniques that used by hackers. So then now get a hash value, get the IP address. This can be easy to do, right? But but to go with domain names and also to get the network artifacts, tools, they can be very tough. So you provide this pain to the attacker. So the attacker at one point say, okay, I don't want to do that anymore. It's really tough. So I'll have a really hard time. So this is what you can do. So by analyzing, so as you can see here, the workflow, the flow that you have generated from the attack generator. Now we know how it really affects, right? So now based on that, the basically the blue team plus the red team, blue team, people who never know about blue team and red team, blue team is the ones like who are doing all this red intelligence and all that. Red teams are like the mostly pen testers who do those things, right? So they can talk together and build up a model, and of course they can analyze what is the problem and all that. Then they can tighten those places, right? Tighten those places and then make the attacker go nuts, right? So that's okay. Like, so they are bad people, so let them suffer, right? So normally, like, we suffer to do something, the same pyramid of pain we also go through. So what the hell? Tighten it and give that pressure, give that pain, give that whatever, right? So give the depression to them, right? To give the depression to them. What the hell? We have to keep it. So now we have a logical flow which will allow us to provide that unwanted depression for the attackers. The attackers are also people, right? So whatever the thing or the S or the F they do, at one point they also can get broken or they break at one point. They also have mindset. You can break any mind, if you use the right technique. So this is the logic that they tries to bring in, right? So your end goal is that, right? So your end goal is that you have to change the behavior of this threat groups, right? So, and that's why the Mitre, they do handle these threat groups as well. They have different names and they know some of these people, not knowing personally, but they have profiling. They will do social profiling, threat profiling of these people or these groups, and they know exactly how they react. So this is something very theoretical, and also there's a lot of interesting things that you can do here. Like, anybody can come in and do things here. You can do psychomotor analysis, or not psychomotor, psychoanalysis, right? So like if you watch this Mentalist TV series, what he's doing, all these things can be done. So there's a lot of opportunities for anyone to jump in and solve the problem of solve the problem of security. So that's where the framework bring in a lot of cool things, right? And then apart from, now when you do this, I told you, like, the red teamers, the blue teamers, the purple teamers, all those buggers needs to come into one picture. So there are days like where you work apart, but there are days where you can work together, right? So this is such place that you can work together. So these are the things that you can do, right? Implementing the attack framework. So this is real. I told you, this is not another theory somewhere in a book. This can be something very real. So you can do red teams testing, right? So you can use attack simulation, security team, right? So you can do all these things, and also automated attack simulation you can do. So you can use a tool called Caldera, right? So this is we can simply implement this. There's a GitHub link, but the thing is, like, you have to have an environment to test this out. So I'll run a small video so you guys to see what's happening there. And then also other things, you can implement these things to your SIEM. So this is quite useful. So people who know SIEM, the SOCs and everything. So now see, everybody get connected, the analyst and everybody get connected. So these days, actually, if you go to a SOC, whether it's McAfee, IBM, or Alien Vault, they do provide the attack frame as part of it, part of the SIEM or the other related products, or else they provide it as a plugin, right? And also, don't ever forget, whatever you do here, right, this is logical, but at one point you have to do training as well. You have to train people on this, train people. So that's where, like, guys like us come in, like lecturers come in. So if you want the organization to get trained on the attack map, call us, right? All right. So you have to know this S or the F, right? So then you know, okay, how to get these things done. Pretty cool, right? Pretty cool. All right. So now let's look at. All right. So we have seen the attack navigator. Okay. Before go to the Caldera, just red team exercise, what they do. Please understand there's another one which you can use for mobile. So this is the one for mobile. I've not installed locally. This you can run online. So again, you can see it's not very detailed. They don't have a lot of other things like the normal enterprise one, but you have related ones for Android, iOS, and things like that, right? So you can, as an example, if you get a one simple one, lateral movement can be attacked PC via USB connection. So we are running this nice Android hacking or Android forensics or Android reverse engineering series. Please watch it. So we are going to cover mobile fest. We're going to cover radar, and we're going to cover DEX to compilation. We're going to cover MSF Venom and how to do payload coupling and obfuscation, and then do reversing, and then how to do hacking, all these things, which is very cool. So this is all to understand how these people buggers are doing that. So that's close that. So I don't. So you can do the same thing here, guys. So if you go here, you can find out different types of attacks, mobile attacks, Android Shuli, Android Rat. See all this cool stuff, right? Spy dealers, Skype free. These are all different types of malware, right? So and these are the threat groups. So we'll look at one dark cartel just for fun. All right. So this is the group. It's the threat group that has been attributed to Lebanese General Directorate of General Security. Ooh, that's that. Yes, you can see there are a lot to learn about these things, guys. All right, so now I'll leave it. Now you know the drill of that. I'll close that. I'll close this as well. Again, that. I'll leave that. Okay. Now, so these are the mobile matrices. So as you can see here, you can find all this is like the Mitre website, and here you find the matrices. So this what you're seeing is the matrices, and you can always launch the attack navigator from here, guys. And then the tactics are available, and the techniques are available, and also mitigation. If you want to mitigate things, you can find it here. And also there are a lot of resources. Start with the getting started menu. So that's the best place to start. There's a 101 blog post in Medium, and there are a lot of videos. And then these are the common use cases. You can use this to detection and analytics. So we have used one actually, so you can get blue teams involved, like I told you, and you can do threat intelligence. Cyber threat intelligence is a big topic, huge topic these days, guys. Pretty cool, right? So I'll be saying this word pretty cool, no? Because it's pretty cool anyway. Right, then adversary emulation red team. So this is one example that I'm going to do now. So you can use something like Caldera. I don't know how to pronounce it. I believe it's the way how they pronounce it. Right. So and also assessments and engineering. So there's a lot you can cover. And also there's a huge community here. Obvious, because this is a community thing. Even though the Mitre organization handle this thing. All right. So getting general information. So and yeah. So there's a philosophy paper here and a lot of presentations, and a lot of people use this. I can't tell you like uh, the amount of usage of this. So this is heavily used everywhere. So this is the roadmap documentation, right? As you can see, there are a lot of places where you can find different visualizations of this, a lot of books, right? So that's enough, right, for the first session. Right, now what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you one video. I have specifically selected the Creative Commons one. Yeah. Okay, so I can probably share this for you guys to watch the full video. But right now I'm going to run the basic video a bit, right? Not everything, but a bit. Just to conclude the idea like, okay, so the attack framework can be really used to do these sort of activities as well.
The main component in Caldera is what we call an ability. What's an ability? It's the execution of a certain technique. Now, Caldera relies on implants on different systems which are deployed upfront, right? It doesn't do initial intrusion. That's not the point. There's already something running,
Just
and that
give
thing.
me a second. Right, I'm back. So this
We'll
is
then
a video
start
from
doing
something
things.
called BrewCon, another famous conference. There's so much of conference, B-sides, ShoomCons, BlackCons, DefCons, yeah, a lot of them.
Running Mitre detect techniques, and it's those techniques that you want to try to detect. That's what it tries to help with. So you deploy a certain agent, and I'll get back to it in a second. Once that's deployed, you initial dumping we see here will very simple.
So I'll just skip on things.
It's a backdoor, right? You've literally deployed the backdoor everywhere. Also, you actually have to facilitate Caldera, because if you have script boot,
Okay,
I
so
think
this is
that's
where
the
actually the
chain is of
demonstration
course the big
starts.
one. What's the chain? It has all of the functionalities, all of the capabilities. So what can we do in the chain?
So we can simply install this in your Windows computer, or I think Kali would be the best choice, right? So you can do it and see. And especially people who are there in the industry, you guys, I think some of you are already using this Caldera tool. So the thing is this can basically like a dashboard, you can handle all the other tools with this, like there's Metasploit, Nessus, whatsoever. You can do all those crazy stuff from here, but one thing to remember, this is a crazy tool where you'll be very careful when you're using this in the enterprise environment, production environment, because this can really affect it.
Let me maybe zoom in a bit. Okay, no zooming for now. There we go. Excellent. So we've got groups, abilities, facts, adversaries, operations. If you go into the groups, here you can see all of my different systems.
So you have learned groups earlier, guys. Can you remember the groups? So this is you are using these groups to set up your attack vectors.
Some Windows machines, Linux Windows, as I showed you in the screenshot, you get some information whether or not they're running or whether they're checking in. All of these systems are currently online. If anyone's in the audience, and I know one or two are, who's connected to
then basically what he's trying
so
to
you could
do,
write your own very quickly, of course, to add things like this. There's a couple of more, well,
so these are
ones.
the attack tactics. So we are taking things from, see, this is the important part. We are taking things from Mitre framework. So you can see the attack tactics, that even the code name is there, so you can now use those tactics and really implement this. So all the implementation things are here, guys. So that's the cool thing about this. So you don't have to really do everything by your hand. So this is quite an automated platform.
Let me have a look. The install cryptography is pretty lame. Privilege escalation, yeah, weak executable files. Credential access is pretty big. For example, here you have.
So credential access is you are trying to get somebody else's usernames and passwords. So this is how we are going to do that. All the scripts are there implemented, right? So find private keys in Darwin is Mac OS, if you are referring to that. Find private keys in Linux, which is really great, right? You can get private keys, and you can get the proc dump, and you can get the process dumps, right? So some of these things we have learned. All right, and also disable Windows Defender. Yeah, that's great because you can do all the other S and F after that. And PowerCats, if you have learned PowerCats, that's really good. So that's getting all the access. Right, so that's really cool stuff here, right? So it's really powerful.
Well, get computers, run PowerCats, credentials in registry, finding private keys, running proc dump. It's a new one. More on that in a second. Execution, so you can find your different ones. Run DLL execution is a new one that we added as well. I'll explain a bit more on that in a second. So you've got different things that you can add. Okay. It's always the same. So let's have a very quick look. Let's add one. My GUI is a bit messed up, of course, because I zoomed in. But let's add this one here. Test one. Oh, Jesus Christ. Keyboard layout. Noisy neighbor, right? Why not? Because I'm lazy. I'll just run this on all of my Windows machines. I don't want clean. You can actually get Caldera to clean up the artifacts that it drops as well, because you can make Caldera drop additional executables. Imagine that you, for example, want to run actual Mimikatz. You don't even want to do PowerCat.
Okay, now you hope got the idea. So you can run all these things from here.
Adversary.
Yeah, so that's the whole
which is an important remark. It's not that smart to actually.
So it's just a quick demo on things. All right, so that's what I need to really cover in the first session. And the next other sessions I'm going to do going deep and understand how this can be used in multiple organizations. how they have used it. So it's quite cool. Right, so now hope that you got this idea of the attack framework. Please understand this is no silver bullet. This is also um, some other technique which is there, but the cool thing is this is having a lot of things for us to learn and to use, and this is not one of those theoretical things which is out there. It's a very practical thing, so there are a lot of people working on this, and if you guys doing research, this is also quite a fascinating area. So we're going to meet you with another one of these sessions into attack map, threat intelligence and all that. So study well, and we'll meet again. Thank you.